TV soap, news, and spoilers. As viewers know, one of the most highly anticipated storylines this week revolves around Chad and Abigail's wedding. But just when fans thought this long-awaited moment would bring happiness, the drama takes a dark and shocking turn. There's danger lurking in the shadows, and the romantic celebration is set to be anything but ordinary. If you thought things were finally calming down for this beloved couple, think again. Days of Our Lives is about to deliver one of its most dramatic twists yet. Chad and Abigail have been through their fair share of challenges over the years, from heartbreaking separations to emotional reunions. This week, fans were excited to see the couple head to Paris, where they planned to renew their love and get married once again. After everything they had endured, it seemed like the perfect moment for Chad and Abigail to finally have their fairy tale ending. But as fans of Days of Our Lives know all too well, nothing is ever as simple as it seems in Salem. While Chad is completely captivated by the idea of getting his life back with Abigail, there's a chilling secret he's unaware of. This woman isn't the real Abigail at all. She's an imposter, and Chad has no idea that the woman he's about to marry isn't who he believes her to be. Blinded by his desire to have his wife and life back, Chad has fallen for the imposter's act. All he can think about is moving past the heartbreak and starting fresh with the woman he loves. He's desperate to believe that this wedding will be the turning point, the beginning of their happily ever after. But as the day unfolds, the danger lurking in the background begins to close in, and Chad's dream wedding quickly transforms into a nightmare. Meanwhile, far from the romance and joy of the wedding preparations, a much darker plot is unfolding. Mark, Abigail's brother, has made a visit to see Clyde in prison. The purpose of his visit? To talk about Abigail's role in getting closer to signing a deal that Clyde is deeply invested in. But Mark wasn't prepared for what Clyde had to say next. In a moment that sent chills down Mark's spine, Clyde coldly ordered Chad's murder. He wanted Chad out of the picture, permanently, and he was counting on Mark to make it happen. Mark was horrified. The idea of killing Chad, his brother-in-law and the father of Abigail's children, was beyond anything he could ever imagine. But now he was faced with an impossible choice. Mark knew one thing for certain. He could never tell Abigail about this part of Clyde's plan. She would never forgive him, and there was no way she would allow him to carry out such a brutal act. Mark found himself trapped, torn between loyalty to his sister and fear of Clyde's wrath. What was he going to do? As Mark struggled with Clyde's deadly orders, Chad and Abigail's wedding day finally arrived. Chad, dressed in his finest suit, stood beside the woman he believed to be his wife, ready to begin a new chapter in their lives. They were surrounded by a few close loved ones, a moment that should have been filled with love and joy. But just as the ceremony was about to begin, the doors to the room flew open, and in stormed Mark, his face pale, his eyes filled with panic. Without hesitation, he pulled out a gun and aimed it directly at Chad. The shock in the room was palpable. Chad was completely taken aback, unable to comprehend what was happening. The imposter Abigail also seemed stunned, though fans were left wondering if she was truly surprised or simply playing along with the drama. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Chad stared at Mark, struggling to process the betrayal and confusion he felt. Why would Mark, of all people, threaten his life on such an important day? What was going on? But Mark wasn't thinking clearly. He was acting out of desperation, caught between the violent demands of Clyde and the love he had for his sister. He knew that this was wrong, but with Clyde's threats looming over him, he saw no way out. And then, in one of the most bizarre and unsettling moments of the scene, the imposter Abigail stepped forward and began to dance. Her movements were strange and hypnotic, as if she was trying to distract or confuse Chad. The atmosphere in the room became tense and surreal. Chad, still frozen in shock, could only watch as she twirled in front of him, her dress swirling around her as if in some grotesque performance. Just as the scene reached its peak, the screen cut to black, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats. A single gunshot echoed through the silence, and the audience was left to wonder who had been hit. Was Chad the intended target, or had the imposter Abigail taken the bullet instead? Could this be the end of AnnaLynne McCord's brief run on Days of Our Lives? As the dust settles from this shocking turn of events, fans are left with more questions than answers. Will Mark carry out Clyde's deadly orders, or will he find a way to save Chad from this murderous plan? And what will happen to the imposter Abigail? Will her identity be revealed, or will she continue to deceive Chad as their wedding day spirals out of control? With the wedding in shambles and a gunshot ringing out in the darkness, the fate of Chad and Abigail's love story hangs in the balance. Can Chad uncover the truth before it's too late, or will this deadly plot tear their lives apart for good? Our TV channel Soap News and Spoilers is the place for those who want to know how the Salem story goes, as well as great Days of Our Lives updates and news, so subscribe to our channel to get what you want. Bye-bye.